the coaches allowing the team to be a player-led team. You know, the best teams are player-led, led by guys that really care about the success of the team. And I feel like Coach Fritz and the other coaches gave us a true opportunity to really set a standard in which we want to accomplish and go out there and achieve it.
Welcome to Call The Huddle. My name is Xavier Gossett. The following conversation is an interview with Nick Anderson, a linebacker who spent 4 seasons at Tulane before recently declaring for the 2023 NFL Draft. Nick had a lot of cool things to talk about, such as his time at Tulane and winning the Cotton Bowl against USC this past season, along with his thoughts on a 12-team college football playoff. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview, and as always, thank you for watching. So you ready to get this thing started then?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. I got just a couple quick questions. I just want to ask for everyone watching to get to know you just as off the field and what your preferences are. Is that good?
It's perfect.
All right, man. The first one I got is a good one. Jordan or LeBron? Which one are you picking and why?
I'm gonna pick LeBron. Simply because stop. Actually, I would have said LeBron prior to this year, but I'm gonna go with Jordan. Simply because of his mentality, the things that he individually brought to his team, and organization with being at the Bulls and going into the season. I really just watched a lot of Jordan's videos, his interviews, and really just admired the way that he was so passionate about winning and making the people around him great. But I'm a LeBron fan, but in this instance, I gotta go with Jordan overall for his mentality.
Okay, I mean LeBron's about to break the scoring record. I like that answer. I like that. These are gonna be hard hitting questions. So get ready for the next few. Taylor Swift or Rihanna?
Rihanna.
Rihanna. All right, you're excited for the halftime show?
Yeah, most definitely, man. You know, Rihanna, she's been holding out for the last couple of years, so it's good to see her.
Yeah. All right. Drake or Future for you, Nick?
Drake.
Drake is an easy one.
Yes, Drake is Future is in my top 5, but Drake is number 1. Just overall because he can like do it all. He can do it all, man. He's the GOAT.
Okay, yeah. I gotcha. What about Xbox or PlayStation? Are you a console guy?
Yeah, I'm a PS5 guy.
PS5. Is there a PlayStation?
PlayStation, yeah.
You always been PlayStation?
Always been PlayStation. Well, I had a 360 before I got the PS4, but after I got the PS4, I've been PlayStation ever since.
That's cool, man. That's cool. And then I just got one more before I want to get I know a couple good ones. If you could play a position other than linebacker, what would you pick and why? And what are you going with?
Running back, simply because I played running back in high school. Definitely miss having the ball in my hands. And with my stature, I feel like I'd be an amazing running back. So definitely running back.
Wow, yeah, I like that. I like to see on your film. Like I know you're good in space and you fly around, so that'd be fun to see like you with the ball in your hands.
Yeah.
Like getting into a couple questions now. I know like you're from Mississippi. You went to JuCo for a year and played football and then spent 4 years at Tulane. Just tell me about like growing up, how did you get into football and like when did you know you were committed to football fully?
Just overall, I started off playing football when I was 6 years old. Prior to that, I was a soccer player. I feel like, you know, everybody starts off as soccer being their fundamental sport. But you know, my parents signed me up for football and I just was naturally always gifted at it. Just loved the physicality of the sport, being able to run around and hit people and just impose my will on people. And so that really just what showed like started that foundation of me really loving the sport. And then once I got to probably my sophomore year of high school, I really realized that I could play on the next level of college and realized that would be a great opportunity for me. And that's something that I really focused in on. And since then, I've just been so passionate about, you know, getting to each and every level after that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's real. I didn't know you played soccer. Like how long did you play soccer for?
I played soccer maybe for about from the age 5 to probably 8. So for a
Okay.
good amount of time.
That age. Okay. Did you ever realize like that helped you with like footwork, just like naturally like being athletic or anything when it came to being like linebacker or anything?
Yeah, like especially when the transition to football, just having that, you know, nature of running all around and having that energy, you know, definitely made a smooth transition to playing, American football. They call,
Right.
football soccer at other places. But overall, yeah, I definitely will push for my future kids to play soccer. Simply because it just builds their fundamentals for no matter what sport you're going into.
That's cool. No, I know I've never heard about anyone else talk about it before, but I know like Chad Johnson talks about like grew up playing soccer, even like as a receiver and stuff, and like footwork and stuff off the line. And that's something that like I know a lot of guys like football players, like American football players, don't have that experience, but it's something that I've always thought is cool.
Right.
Just like growing up into that, obviously you talked about like going and like playing high school ball. Just like who's some linebackers or defensive guys that you looked up or modeled your game after, like that you admired growing up?
Okay, growing up, I would say Reuben Foster.
Ooh,
In that
okay.
in that middle school age, just watching him, and then in high school, watching guys like Mac Wilson, Devin White, just
Right.
dogs at the position. And you had I was able to watch Ray Lewis in his last couple years, and just really admired the way he motivated and how much of a leader he was. So I definitely say those were my top linebackers. Also, I was a Green Bay Packers fan growing up, so Clay Matthews was definitely a guy that I love to watch play football.
That's cool. So like in high school, did you ever like rush the passer or were you like a off backer?
I did both in high school. In high school, I actually played offensively. I played running back, played a
Yeah.
little H back, fullback, and then on the defensive side of the ball, I played stand up DN and middle linebacker.
Wow. So like coming in, like what was the transition in the JuCo like when you were playing linebacker?
The transition was kind of smooth. I didn't really realize the difference between playing high school football and the speed of the game compared to playing on the junior college level.
Okay.
Once I got to junior college, I realized that I would have to work a little bit harder to get those 13, 14 tackle games simply because like everybody around me was a little bit better than it was when I was in high school. So I definitely had to get adjusted to the speed in the game and also playing with guys, not just being the best guy on the field all the time and playing with guys that had equilibrium of talent around me. When my time at Jones, I think I played both of my safeties were All Americans. Um, I played beside Dalen Gill, and he was an All American the year after I left. So I'm playing around guys that make plays. So I had to, kick a different motor in order for me to get seen out there. But definitely love the experience. It definitely was a humbling experience going the junior college route. Wouldn't trade my time there for anything in the world. But as far as the football, I would definitely say the speed of the game was a little bit faster than high school.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a cool experience, like getting to see the three different levels, obviously. Right quick, I just want to hit. I know you're from Mississippi. I know Mississippi's got a lot of good athletes, especially like football, American football athletes. Like Jerry Rice, I know Walter Payton, like Brett Favre, AJ Brown, like DK Metcalf, guys like today. Who are like the three? Could you give me like the top three guys off your head that you think in your eyes?
Top three guys from Mississippi, excluding myself, would be I gotta give a shout out to my dog N'Kobe Dean.
Yeah,
My real good friends. He's about to go play in the Super Bowl this weekend, so gotta give him a shout.
right.
Um AJ Brown is up there simply because I've seen him play in person, and he was definitely that type of athlete in high school. Like I've seen him make some crazy catches and do some crazy things. Cam Akers. Cam Akers. Those would be my top
Oh
three.
yeah.
Cam Akers at high school, he played quarterback for Clinton, and really he was just an athlete all around. He played quarterback, lineup and running back, receiver sometime, safety on defense, and he probably is the best player that I played against from Mississippi. He was
Wow.
he was a crazy athlete in high
I
school.
didn't even know he was from Mississippi. I knew he went to Florida State. That's
Yeah,
pretty
he
cool.
was from Clinton, Mississippi. Yeah, I definitely say Cam Akers is the best high
Yeah.
school football player from Mississippi that I've seen play and played against.
Wow. Okay. Like I know. Tell me, were you were committed to South Alabama, correct? Or
Yeah, prior to Tulane, I was committed to South Alabama, and the other school that I was showing real interest in was Ole Miss. So it came down to Ole Miss, South Alabama, and Tulane.
yeah, then like tell me after your season at JuCo, what was the recruiting process of going to Tulane like, and what was the decision behind that, and why did you ultimately end up going there, and what was the deciding factor?
Okay, so really one of the things that really changed about my recruiting process going from junior college to Division 1 versus high school was that I was more understanding of what to look for when it came to, college choices and what was more important rather than just uniforms and looking good and things like that. And so I really just looked at the relationships and the values of how teams really wanted me to come in and wanted to use me and how they prioritized me. South Alabama showed me a lot of love. They really was the first school to offer me when I got to junior college level. They offered me before I even played a snap of junior college football. So that's why I went ahead and committed to them because they just showed me a lot of loyalty. Starting off. Ole Miss was definitely at the top spot for a long time. With me being a Mississippi guy, you grow up wanting to play, at Ole Miss or Mississippi State. But I just felt like Ole Miss wasn't really prioritizing me and that they really were just checking off a list when it came to, my offer and things like that, and that I wouldn't, be a premier guy, on that team. And so it came down to Tulane. And at first I was hesitant about Tulane because, it was a program that was, not really known, but I knew that Coach Fritz was a pretty good coach and they had some pretty good players and they would give me the opportunity to come in and play early. And the program was definitely on the rise, getting this first bowl game win versus the University of Lafayette at the time. And so on my official visit and had a blast. My mom enjoyed herself. I enjoyed myself. And one of the things that really stood out to me about Tulane was just the relationships. Like you can tell that the coaching staff genuinely had a good relationship with each other and that the players really had a good relationship with the coaches, especially when it came to the linebackers and the linebacker coach, Coach Moots. I can just tell that everything was genuine, that he wasn't just one of those coaches that, just done with you after you're done with practice and doesn't talk to you ever. I can tell that, they had a pretty great uh relationship in that room and a great standard. And ultimately that would lead to my decision, just the culture of Tulane and the culture through the program, and also the academics. Academics was definitely one of the priorities on my list. So getting a Tulane degree was definitely the deciding factor for coming down here.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. And then like obviously you had the 4 seasons there and then capped it off with this past season. Obviously had like 105 tackles and was a great season all around. You guys finished number 9th overall in the rankings. Tell me just like going into this season, what was the transition like this season? Obviously 12-2 this season. You guys finished like 2 wins last season, right?
Right.
What was the talk in the locker room and how did you guys like when did you guys know you were as good as you could be?
Just overall, it started last year in January. We had a lot of great leaders on the team, not only, the 4 captains, but all across the board. We had guys that had experience, guys that really, were able to take control of their position rooms. And I really want to say the top two things that really played a role in the big change was one, us having faith in the program, faith in ourselves. Um, Believing in each other and really playing together. And also the coaches allowing the team to be a player-led team. The best teams are player-led, led by guys that really care about the success of the team. And I feel like Coach Fritz and the other coaches gave us a true opportunity to really set a standard in which we want to accomplish and go out there and achieve it. And so I feel like, everybody just did a good job of holding each other accountable, not being selfish, really locking in on the common goal. And we set the goal back in January. We said in January, our first meeting, that we were going to go out and win the conference championship. And then after that, we would win our bowl game. And we didn't settle for anything less. We set that standard, and it wasn't no, okay, what about if this happens or that happens? No, that's the standard. And we stayed true to it. And that's a really good testament to what we did this season.
Yeah, like obviously that last big game against USC was huge. And then talk about like you guys had the two losses this year, like Southern Miss and then UCF later in the year. Like you talk about being a player led team and like all the talented guys that you guys had being able to like work each other out and stuff. Tell me like personally, how do you grow as a communicator and leader like throughout this season? Did you notice anything that stuck out to you in that aspect?
Oh, most definitely. This year really tested my leadership as a captain because a lot of guys cling to me overall just to see how I would respond to different things. And I'll never forget, us coming off the Kansas State win and, going into the Southern Miss game, really on a nonchalant pace. I'm not saying that we didn't prepare for the game, but we didn't really emphasize it like we did the week before when we were playing Kansas State. I mean, so Southern Miss came out and they just really wanted to win more, and they beat us. And then prior to the after the game, we went in the locker room, and you can just tell that it had the opportunity to go really negative. And that's when I just took the opportunity as a captain to bring the team together after the game, and just tell them, we did lose a rivalry game, but the real season started next week with conference. um the season and what we've done these first four games really doesn't matter at this point, because the ultimate goal was us to win a conference championship. The goal was never to go undefeated. The goal wasn't to beat Southern Miss. The goal was to go out and win a conference championship, and that goal is still obtainable. But we can't turn on each other. We can't lose ourselves just because we lost one game. And the team really just bought into that. And that's really when we started the 1-0 mentality and just putting the emphasis on winning each game and focusing on each opponent week by week and putting our all into whoever's on the schedule for each Saturday. And we carried that on, and we hit a little wall with UCF, and I feel like that wall really wasn't because we wasn't it really wasn't because we were not mentally prepared. It's just they just had a great game plan and they beat us. But the week after that, we settled back in, beat SMU, win and beat Cincinnati on the road to snap their win streak, because we knew we wanted to play those guys again. And we ended up beating them in the conference championship. And so overall, we just emphasized that 1-0 mentality, emphasized getting better each and every week, and not letting a win change us or a loss change us, but continuing to strive for it each and every week, and it paid off.
Right. Yeah. Like talk about like you being one of the veterans in that locker room. Are you like a vocal guy when it comes to pointing stuff out or like talking to guys in like the film room or on the practice room or things like that? Or are you more like an example type guy?
A little bit of both, but more vocal. I lead by example with my play and my dedication to my preparation and doing my assignment. But overall, I try to be that vocal guy to motivate guys and push guys, and really just want to bring the best out of my teammates. And I said, prior to the season, that my goal wasn't to have crazy statistics or get all these different accolades. My goal was to win and was to be a great leader and great captain. The way we do captains down here, the team votes for whoever's going to be the captain. And so I knew that my responsibility would be to be the best leader I could the whole season, because that's what the guys put me in that position to do so. And overall, our team success brought individual success, but putting the team first was really my main point of emphasis in being the leader this season. And I feel like I did a great job of being the captain and the leader, and really just put the team on my back at times. And it was stressful, being a captain. Everybody looks at you for answers, and you also got to carry yourself a certain way. But I stepped up to the plate and took on the challenge, and can go to sleep at night knowing I did everything I could as a captain for this team.
Yeah. Like tell me like throughout your career, obviously like the 4 years of Division I football, is there like a moment, whether it's even this year or like early on in your career, where you kind of like figured it out or where you realized that you like were more vocal or had like a different view of the game in a way?
Overall, I would say last year, me getting hurt and suffering an injury last season really changed my mentality to not be so focused on my success and what I could do for the game, but overall just enjoy the fact that you get to play football, that you get to lace up and go practice or, dress out and perform each and every Saturday. Going into last season, I really was so focused on, having a great season so I can go to the draft and go to the league, that I really was looking more into the future than I was in the present. And so after dealing with the hurricane and dealing with some personal things, and then also getting hurt week 3 versus Ole Miss, it allowed me to really sit down and focus and come to the realization that football can be taken from me at any moment. And so when God gives me an opportunity to lace on the cleats and step on the field, I want to stay in that moment and make the most of it. So I really would say my injury is overall what changed my aspect to be more appreciative of the game and the opportunities that football gives me. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and then like going into that, like I'm real excited for like your off season and everything. I watched a lot of your film, and I can tell you just fly around on the field. You're a big tackler, and obviously you can see the aspect like the how long you've been there stands out on the field. Like just tell me now, like going into the draft prospect, you saw like the Cotton Bowl. You guys won the Cotton Bowl. You declared for the draft and then hired an agent. Like just tell me what's the last year been like for you, and what's this experience like going forward?
The last year has been amazing to go out my senior year with a conference championship, with a Cotton Bowl win against, the Heisman Trophy winner, and also such a historic program against USC. It's just truly been a blessing, and I'm thankful for God for each and every thing that He's given me this year. Especially coming off a year like last year, I'm just so appreciative of the different ways that He's blessed me. And it's just been exciting, man. I try to stay in the moment and not get too ahead of myself. I know the NFL draft is coming. I know all of that is coming, but overall, I just been focused on, my training and just enjoying the process to get there. Yeah, you're right. I picked my agent, EJ Gonzalez. Really just believe in him, believe in his work ethic. And decided to really roll with him because he's just a great person, a real genuine guy. So that was exciting signing with him and making that relationship. And also just the reality of knowing that my dreams are at the door. And that's just something that, really is just a true testament to my faith and true testament to God and how he's blessed me. But overall, this year has been amazing. And I'm just excited to wake up each and every day and get to what's next.
Yeah, yes, sir. No, definitely. I'm gonna be rooting for you throughout the next couple steps of this thing. Just tell me now about your game. Like I said, I know you're a big hitter and you fly around, but like in your opinion, like what are some strengths to your game? Like whether it's on the field or like in the film room or like leadership, like you were talking about. Like how are you a unique player?
I would just say my ability to adapt and play different positions. This year my coach had me playing outside linebacker in our base 3-4 defense, stand up DN, and being able to rush the passer. I play a lot of special teams. I actually caught a punt versus Tulsa from a direct snap to get the first down. So I just feel like my ability to do a lot of different things on the football field really helps boost my production and also boost my opportunity to do it on the next level. I feel like I'm one of those guys that whatever coach needs me to do, I'm down to do it. And just a guy that, has the experience doing a lot of different things on the defensive side. I also feel that I'm a very intelligent football player. I have great awareness and great instincts that really help me elevate my game. And another strength I would say is my size. A lot of people may look at my size and say it's a weakness. He's not the biggest guy, but I feel like my size allows me to slip blocks, play with great leverage against my opponents. And it also gives me the opportunity to move a little bit quicker and do things that guys at 6'2", 6'3" just can't do. So I definitely feel like my size is one of my strengths and helps elevate my game in different ways.
Yeah, no, right. I know. I think the sub 6 foot linebacker thing is something that's like a more like traditional take. That's like guys in the NFL today. If you can play, you can play. Like if and you watching your game, you're a real athletic guy and you're bigger, like you were talking about. So I think it's something that, like I said, is like an older take, and a lot of guys today, it's just based on the film and the game. Going off of that, like just talk about like what are some things that you're working on as a player, or something that you can improve on as a linebacker right now.
Just overall right now, just been working on just lateral quickness. I feel like as a linebacker, that's one of the things you always got to have, especially with the modern NFL coming into more of a passing league. You got to be able to cover, faster guys. So just having that quickness to take the right angles, keep the right leverage. That's just something I've been working on, as well as flexibility and body control. So overall, just making sure that I'm more flexible and can have more endurance to cover faster, quicker guys. And just overall staying strong, staying in shape, and continuing to grow as a football player and as a student of the game. I feel like, until you retire and hang the cleats up, it's always something that you can learn and add to your game. And so I feel like that's one of the things that I've really been working on this offseason, just becoming more understanding of the mental approach going into the NFL, and also just working on my speed, quickness, and strength. Because you always need to enhance those things in order to perform well.
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously all about the details in the NFL, so that's something that you can only work on. Like I saw a little bit. You guys have a pro day set, right?
Yeah,
For
our pro day is March 16th.
16th. Okay. Do you have any like numbers right now of like workout numbers that you're looking for or like expecting on certain things?
Okay, so bench press, my goal is 27 reps on the bench, at least 27.
At least.
My vertical jump at least a 37. My broad jump a
Yeah.
10 plus. That's my standard. Gotta get at least 10.
Yeah.
Um, for my 40 time, everybody wants to know my 40 time. And I know a lot of teams right now have me projected to run the 4.6. I'm not running the 4.6. I'm gonna run way faster than that. But overall, I'm shooting for 4.4, sub 4.440 on pro day. I feel like that's something that can really boost my stock, something that can really show that, I'm as big as I am, I can move very, very smoothly. So that's why I've been training to break that 4.49. Even if it's 4.49, just hit it. But overall, those are my numbers that I'm planning on producing on pro day.
I'd love to see that, man. That'd be crazy. I know you were a guy that wasn't invited to the combine. Like what are your measurables out right now? Like height weight wise?
I'm 5'10". Right now I'm about 228. I'm trying to get up to like 230. It's not hard, but it's just one of those things where you want to gain muscle
Uh-huh.
rather than just putting weight on. So right now I'm 5'10", around 228, 227. I think my hand is about a little over 9. My wingspan is about 74 and a half. I haven't measured my arms in a minute, but those are overall my measurables.
Right. Yeah. No. Obviously, sub 4.4 would be cool, and the rest of those numbers I think are definitely possible for you. Like I said, you pop off on the film. Like going into a couple of fun questions now. I know, like obviously, you guys finished ninth in the nation, played a lot of really good teams this year, and you guys on your team as well got a lot of really good dogs. Like tell me, who's the best player you've seen or played with, like just in your opinion, on in your eyes?
The best player that I've seen as far as my opponent since I've been playing at Tulane, I have to go with my dog Kenny Gainwell.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Me and him played 7-on-7 football together in Mississippi. He's another Mississippi guy. And we played against him in the 2019 season when he was with the Memphis Tigers. And I definitely gotta, it's a little biased, but I definitely gotta say he's my favorite player that I've played against simply because, it just feels good to well, at the time it didn't feel good because he broke a couple records on us that 2019 year. But to just, see him blossom and see him, destroy things when he was in this conference. I definitely say he's my best favorite player that I've, played against. And my favorite player that I've played with, I can't just name one. So I'm gonna
Right.
name 3.
That's fair. That's definitely fair for this
First
too.
was first would be Dorian Williams, my right hand man. Number 2, was my number 2, my will linebacker. Just his physicality, that he brings to the game. Just the overall, his length, his speed, his strength. He just was a great linebacker to play beside. Just me and him and his connections. We just always made each other better. That's my brother. I can depend on him for anything, and we've been best friends since we both got here in 2019. So just to see, him grow and his development has definitely been a sight to see. My second guy would be Tajay Spears. Even when he first got here as a freshman, I could always see just how great he was going to be. Just the things that he was doing as a freshman, from his cuts to the way he planted, his explosion, his speed. I knew that he was going to be great. So to see this last week, how he blew up at the Senior Bowl and everybody around the country is talking about him, it's crazy to see like everybody is finally seeing what I saw 2019, 4 years ago. So he's definitely, somebody that had a great season for us, somebody that will have a great career in the NFL, and he's definitely on my top 3 list. And third, I would say my dog Larry Brooks. That's my roommate. He plays safety for us. Just such a great player. Plays in the special teams. And was a great player for Tulane and just did a lot of things for us that went unseen. He also is somebody that I feel like is gonna have a great pro day. Me and him been working out together with our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Hester. I feel like he has a big chip on his shoulder, but overall, I think he finished his Tulane career with 10 interceptions, and just really was a dog for us, really a smart player. Me and him called ourselves the Tulane version of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. So that's my dog, man. But overall, I'll say Tajay, Dorian, and Larry are my favorite players that I've played with since I've been at Tulane.
Wow. I know, like, obviously, it's cool. Like, I know, like, saying there's a lot of talent on that team. Like you just talked about, a lot of guys. And then obviously, like, Michael Pratt at quarterback, one of the best in the nation.
Yeah.
Like, what are those practices like? Are they like chirpy at all, or do they get like crazy, or?
It's intense. It's intense. We actually in the summer, the defense we was watching, little highlights from LSU's magical 2019 season where they won a national championship. And we watched an interview between Patrick Queen and him talking about Joe Burrow and how he said in fall camp they were tagging off on Joe, trying to make him tougher. And after that, they won a national championship. And so we were joking with Pratt prior to starting fall camp, and we was like, yeah, Pratt, that red jersey means nothing. We're coming at you. We're going to hit you. And one of the D linemen actually hit him in practice. Like the first practice and pass, one of the D linemen like hit him. And coach, went crazy on the D lineman, but I mean, we won a conference championship. So
Yeah.
one of those things that, Pratt, he's a great quarterback. He's gonna definitely be one of the top quarterbacks next year coming out. He's a motivator. He was a great fellow captain, and he's also one of those guys that grinds a little harder and pushes everybody around him. And he definitely is a great sight to see, and I'm excited to see what he does his final senior campaign.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely like what you said earlier is what's cool about like a player-led team when you have so many like just talented athletes like that. Just I know you wore like 40 and then you wore 1 at Tulane too. Like, just tell me what number are you looking at? Anything in the pros, or do you got anything in mind?
I want to be back in 40. I would love to
40,
be.
40 is a cool number.
I would love to be back in 40 or 30. I wore 30 my freshman and sophomore year in high school, but if I could get back in that 40 when I get to the NFL, that would be amazing.
That is cool. You wore 40 your last 2 years of high school then?
So my first 2 years of high school, I wore number 30, and then I went to number 14. And then I wore 14 when I was at junior college. And then I got here and they put me in number 40. And then for the last 2 seasons, I wore number 1. So if I could get back in number 40, I feel like that's a great linebacker number in the NFL to have. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
That's cool. That's cool, man. I know, like I said, you guys played in the Cotton Bowl this year. Just like another fun question I got here. I know they're saying 12-team college football playoff in 2024. And obviously, like I said, being a guy that played that top competition, what are your thoughts on that? Would that help college football, or would that just be more games for guys, or what? What are your thoughts?
I feel like it will help college football, and also help with the transition to the NFL. I mean, the NFL regular season now is about 17 games. So playing more games would definitely help with that transition. And also, I feel like expanding the playoffs definitely gives smaller group of 5 teams the opportunity to go out and play for a national championship, which is something that's mostly needed because we put in the work, we grind hard just like everyone else. So we want to be able to have the opportunity like the Alabamas, the LSU, the Clemsons, the Oregons, to go out and play for something that we worked hard for too. So I feel like, a 12-team expanded playoff is definitely the right decision that was made. I hate it wasn't this year because who knows what we would have accomplished in the playoff, but I'm glad to see it coming forward.
Yeah, obviously, like, it sucks to see, like, obviously, like, not having that, like, extra competition to be able to play, even though you guys started off the season unranked, and then to finish at 9 and not be able to play that momentum into the playoffs that would have been like in the next couple of years, hopefully. but hopefully it'll be fun. So we're gonna see what it's like.
Most
Uh,
definitely.
I got just a couple more quick questions. I appreciate all your time, Nick, and everything's been real fun. So I appreciate everything. Tell me, like, you got a favorite stadium you've ever played in?
The bounce house,
Where's
UCF.
that? UCF.
UCF, the bounce house down there. It's a great atmosphere. Those fans definitely bring it. And I really enjoyed playing down there. Actually, wouldn't have minded, going down there for the conference championship and beating them in their house. But I'm glad that we were able to do it on our own turf. But I
Yeah,
definitely say the bounce house is my favorite place to have played in my college career.
that's a cool one. I've never heard of that one. I've never heard of the UCF as one of the like top ones in the nation. And then like I want to go off of. I know you talked about your agent that you signed. I want to ask like, what are your thoughts on NIL and what has your experience been with like just like NIL and that aspect currently since it's been involved?
I feel like NIL is a great opportunity to compensate players on the things that they do on a daily basis. I feel like prior to NIL, a lot of people really didn't look at playing college football as a job. They looked at it as it being a privilege, in which is a privilege, but it's also something that you wake up and you grind for each and every day. On top of that, being a student, prior to being an athlete.
Right.
So I definitely feel like it gives the players the opportunity to make money off their name, make money off their image and their likeness, which is more deserving, considering that the universities get so much from athletes and their performance, and that now athletes get to make a little money off that. And overall, my experience has been good with NIL, even though I've only, been doing it for a year. I received a lot of different opportunities to make some money. And just looking forward to how it grows. I feel like it's something that's positive, and that in the right situations that people can keep it from being a negative thing. But the reality of it is, guys want to get compensated for the work that they put in. And I feel like nothing's wrong with that. So I definitely am looking forward to, guys, making name for themselves and making a profit off the things that they do.
Right. And then like talking about, I know you talked about your agent, EJ Gonzalez. Was it like after that at all? Like, did you sign him after you had done NIL deals, or were your NIL deals like individual without an agent or a representative?
Yeah, so my NIL deals were all by myself. I always, I was the one reaching out to different companies and companies were reaching out to me. So I feel like it's something that you don't really need an agent to do it for you if you understand the business etiquette and, have the opportunity to negotiate it for yourself. But I feel like somebody that has a busier schedule may need somebody to organize it a little bit for them. But yeah, EJ was just my representation for the NFL. Prior to EJ, I didn't really have anybody negotiating my NIL stuff aside from myself. But I don't mind, someone having an agent to help with NIL, but I just feel like it's something that you can do yourself and get negotiated yourself. And it also gives you practice with, going to NFL or also going into a job overall of how to present yourself and how to, submit a resume and, stand on the table for yourself and say, this is what I can bring to your organization or your brand.
Right. Yeah. I know like NIL is moving a lot towards like high school brand. I know 25 of the 50 states have passed it for high school states so far. And obviously, like you're talking in NCAA, it's a growing thing. I think it's important for a lot of people, but like you said, it depends on what you're doing and if like you said, what you're doing off of it. I just got one more question before I let you go. Just like tell me, obviously, since you played your first year at junior college, and obviously I'm sure you've like developed a lot as a player since, but just tell me like what's the biggest difference in your mind as a player from now to when you were a freshman?
Mm. I would just say maturity and dedication. Just starting off as a freshman, you have the opportunity to get distracted by many different things. And the college life itself brings a lot of different distractions from all over. You can get distracted with things that are going on at home. You can get distracted with partying and things that's going on outside the program. So I definitely feel that my maturity grew each and every year with being more dedicated and more passionate about wanting to play football on a professional level, that I was able to block out distractions and stay the course. And that's just the advice I would give to anybody that's coming in as a freshman, to know that, what do you want to do? Do you want to just be a number, just be a guy on the team, or do you really want to be your best and produce and perform? And in order to be your best and perform the best, you have to make sacrifices. I'm not saying don't, enjoy the college life, but I'm just saying there's a time for everything. And when it's time to work and when it's time to grind and prioritize your schoolwork as well as your preparation for being on the field, you have to take advantage of that time and put off, all the distractions in order to achieve a bigger goal. So I definitely say maturity is one of the main things that I've grew in the sense of coming in as a freshman.
Right. Yeah. Being a football player and like just a student athlete in general is obviously a big responsibility, like as you've touched on in a lot of ways. I appreciate your time, Nick. All your answers were great and everything was cool. All your insight before the NFL and good luck through everything before the draft comes and everything through that, man.
Most definitely, man. Thanks for having me.